And now we are going to go ahead and get ready to go into this final game between these two crazy players, and the map is going to be on Crevasse.
I cannot wait to go into it. We are delaying no time at all, jumping directly into it. It is game 3. It is tied up. It is Mouse Sports Mana versus StarTales Bomber. The third match of the day. 9 more to go. Will Mana be able to take down the Korean superstar? It all comes down to this. We have Mana spawning in the bottom left position as the blue Protoss. If you would like to see Mana close this series off 2-1, give a cheer for Mana! But down in the bottom right, we have the GOM TV Star League GSL Code A champion. It is StarTales Bomber!
And wow, as I mentioned before we even got into this series, Bomber with a 78 win percentage against Protoss players. And having that in Code A and in the GSL is an insane record. And then on the other side of the table, we have Mana with a 61 percentage, not as high as he'd like, but still being able to display an incredible game that second, taking out the GSL Code A champion. What a feat that is. And it could be if he wins this game, it would have been the first time that I mentioned briefly yesterday, it would have been the first time that a non-Korean had actually beat a Korean in an international tournament since the early rounds of MLG.
Now, important thing to note, Crevasse is one of the most important maps to understand metagame. In any sort of strategy game, you can use your knowledge from within the game. What are Terrans capable of? No way, for instance, that a battlecruiser could roll in right now into Mana's base. But accessing the metagame would be looking at what the trends are on this map, what people would usually do, and using that knowledge to give you an edge. For instance, many players will early expand blind to this backdoor expansion. So oftentimes players will exploit the metagame by early expanding themselves, or for instance going for an extremely fast rush play, knowing that there is a potential vulnerability. It looks like Mana is still opening up standard, but Bomber may very well be going for an early backdoor expansion, but he's still not rushing it, getting that barracks down first.
And as you can see, the minerals all building up now, 350. And there goes the SCV to go ahead and build that command center. And looking over in Mana's base, using the same build he's used throughout the entire series, skipping that Zealot. And will be going for that fast Chrono Boosted Stalker to chase away that SCV. And will he decide to go the Sentry expand again, 1 gate, or will he go for the 3 gate? On the Xel'Naga Caverns, he decided to go for a 3 gate expand with a little bit of pressure. Oh, and actually, that thought because the probe gets inside and will be able to get confirmation, goes up to the
and there it
natural
is.
And sees it.
And he spots the early command center. That is a big, big key for Mana's early game decision making. He could go for a big early expand play himself. He could go nuts and do a 4 gate all in. The world is his at this point.
And looking at his resources now, will he be throwing down another gateway or saving up? He is building a sentry, so he's cutting that mineral costs. And probe is going up now to that natural area, and it's going to build the natural. But look at this over here, Day 9.
Oh my god, it's a 3rd command center. He's expanding to the other backdoor natural. And again, this is another reference to that whole metagame knowledge. Bomber sees almost nothing. There's no trigger that would cause him to do this, but he is almost certain that he is going to be up against a single expand nexus. Will Mana be meticulous enough with his scouting to spot that top right? Marches right up with a Stalker, gets a little bit of knowledge, sees a second barracks getting constructed, but man, if he could spot that command center, that would be a big win for Mana.
I'm trying to think what Mana's thinking about now from his perspective. Why would he ever go to search all the way up there? We've seen the bunker go down, and I just don't think he's ever going to go and scout that. And that could really be game-changing, having that extra orbital command, that extra set of SCVs on that mineral line. And I just don't think Mana's even going to think about that, and will be extremely disappointed if it comes down that he loses this game just because of that orbital command there.
There's going to have to be a lot of heavy thinking going on by Mana if he wants to identify that something is up at this backdoor expansion. I mean, keep in mind that almost never have we seen Bomber over bunker. He builds 1 or 0, constantly salvages. If for some reason Mana pops up and sees even 2 bunkers, he might get a little bit suspicious, but we're seeing Bomber go heavy on these rich Vespian gas geysers. They return 6 gas at a time. Has not even taken geysers in his main yet.
So Bomber did go ahead and scan that natural of Mana and see the gas, the assimilator being built on. And once again, we have the robotics facility. Mana using the same build consistently throughout the entire series, not just the beginning stages into the mid game, and we'll look to add on that Colossus. But now we have the rich Vespian geyser, well, not the refinery being added on for Bomber, and adding mules to this location, and that's going to help his main and natural, because all the mules are going to be used up at that base, and so the mineral lines inside his main and natural are just going to last that little bit longer.
Great point. Always important to add those mules to your newest expansions as opposed to your oldest ones. We see the double tech lab, the reactor going up, the factory going up, and the +1. But this is still a little bit behind by Barma because of how early his third command center was. I'm a little surprised to see no orbital command yet, but if you think about it, the one advantage that command centers will have is that they can load up 5 SCVs and retreat. So perhaps what Bomber is really valuing is being able to pull those SCVs out if it does get spotted. So we can see either brilliant decision-making by Bomber, or he's just awful and forgot the orbital command.
And if he is that genius as you're explaining, he can easily pick up and just move down to the natural third position just below the main base and continue mining from there. And the robotics bay is finishing now. A nice scan. Does he actually see the robotics facility? He sees the robotics facility and sees the robotics bay also. And we have the observer moving into the base now. 4 Mana is going to see exactly, can he now maybe identify that there is a hidden expansion? We do have probes, 2 probes moving about the map now. Mana realizing that possibly something could be up, and he is going to go ahead and scout all these expansions. This is a very large map, and it looks like Mana's going to be able to scout it.
He's getting closer. Will he end up marching up? Oh, Mana, you're so close.
Oh my god.
Oh no. Oh. That could be huge. In the meantime, Bomber is continuing to just produce Marines, Marauders. We see neither probe has managed to scout the main, but there, the starport is added onto the reactor. He's beginning the medevac production. Mana, oh, we are going to be coming back to this probe again and again, and when you watch this replay, that's going to sting so much.
Oh no, that's so bad for him. I mean, it's just a few inches away from seeing that. And Mana might even feel that he's in the lead now because he's getting this third base up a lot faster than Bomber. But he should be able to identify something is missing here, because why would Bomber be so far behind? Why is he getting this third command center up so late? And look, he is going to move up, and it will scout it finally.
And he spots it. Oh man, and it looks like the armory is up there as well. And so Mana now will have to build a pylon. He does not want to walk units all the way cross map, and it looks like we're going to get to see that load ability from that command center come into use again. But Bomber is setting himself up for a very solid late game, but is it better than the late game of Mana? We saw Mana go toe-to-toe with Bomber on that Terminus game and come out ahead.
And as you can see, the double forge has gone down once again. Chrono Boost and just the attack at the moment. A little bit of a mistake there. Does have the Chrono Boost energy to continue with both of these. But that's only a slight error. The probe is now completed with that pylon in the top right. Do we have any units? Just a few zealots could go and completely nullify this. There we do have 3 zealots going up. And he might even lose the armory, which is researching the +1 ship weapons here too.
We see there's 2 starports out, making 4 Vikings at a time. Mana looks like he sees both of them. There the zealots finally managing to clean up. Oh, and now he's morphing it to a planetary fortress. A surprising twist at this phase in the game. We're seeing more zealots morph in. I mean, Mana might not be able to take this expansion out. Bomber is dropping to defend it. It looks like Mana is too late to take out this top right.
And it is successfully defended. The armory will stay alive, and that ship weapons will be finally upgraded. And the Viking count at the moment is 6. And the style of Bomber, he just doesn't like medivacs. He's only got 2 in this game. He had so little in the previous game. And I mean, you compare that to the style of MVP, who does basically almost the opposite and has so many medivacs, but there's such a low count for this stage of the game. 27 Marines versus 18 Marauders. And you look at the actual probe versus SCV count, Mana with a slight lead there at 67 versus 60. And the 4th base is now up for Bomber, so Mana's going to have to either attack soon or get up a 4th base of his own.
But can he keep up in upgrades? Almost always you'll see the Protoss a little bit ahead of the Terran because of the Chrono Beast, because of the ease and cheapness of those upgrades. But we see Bomber at 2-1 already getting his plus armor upgrade at this one hidden engineering bay that I've been looking for almost all game long, Diapollo.
The engineering bay?
Yeah, he has a second one. Ha! There it is.
There you go.
With a +2 armor.
And looks like Bomber is moving out now. And he is researching +3 weapons. He's actually got a large lead in the upgrade race right now versus Mana. And these Vikings with that +1 attack are going to kill Colossus even faster. And the Ghost Academy only just beginning now, nearing its completion. And,
the Templar inches away from Storm. It looks like it will be able to complete in time. Bomber taking down the destructible rocks, giving himself a little bit more of an opportunity to reinforce, but also creating a deadly attack path for Mana's troops. It looks like Mana's morphing in more Zealots, does have the +2/+2 going, has his extra swell of gateways, has, it looks like 9 on the field right now. If these Templar can advance forward and get some big storms off, that could be potentially game-ending for this army. Uh-oh, will Bomber, oh no, he needs to keep his own observer alive, he needs to be careful, is advancing forward. Bomber gonna pull back into a nice big arc. Storm does manage to get just the edge of that army. Oh! And it looks like advancing forward with everything. Can he get more storms off? No, it looks like he's basically out of energy. Mana advancing forward though. Oh, I do not like this attack by Mana. Another storm goes off, but Bomber having the superior angle, the better upgrades, the better unit mix.
Wow.
Crushes this force from Mana. Can Mana maybe pick off some more Vikings? He does a decent job just force fielding for the defense, but I mean, with this extra 4th base up at top right, Bomber is just having ridiculous numbers of units. Mana now just going to go for a very lean High Templar Zealot mixture, but Bomber is way ahead.
Unlike the previous game, Mana's timings, well, this kind of mid-game push here was kind of thrown off because of that hidden expansion. He realized he was behind. He tried to get more units out rather than go for these upgrades. And as you can see, that slipped down 1-1 versus 2-1 in that fight with almost actually only +1 Vikings at that time. But the superior unit count and also those upgrades just completely changed the game. And missing those first few storms as well, he just didn't have enough energy to continue with that. But now we have 5 Ghosts out. And if they get some good EMPs off, this could be lights out as +3 weapons is about to finish. And also the +2 ship weapons.
Ooh, it looks like Bomber is not yet going to spot it. Oh, a Stalker at the top right. Looks like it delays mining for a little bit, but SCVs do have that +2 armor upgrade, making them a lot more effective against those Stalkers. We do now see Mana has a reasonably sized force, but with that many Ghosts out on the field, that is going to be so hard to defend against.
The Mana does have position here over Bomber, but in come the Ghosts. EMPs all over the place, a few storms, but
huge EMPs, but more Templar from behind doing some big storms, but Bomber is advancing in for the kill with the insane macro, storming forth. Mana putting up an incredible fight, but Bomber just has too many units with that snuck early 3rd base. We now see Mana will lose his expansion.
He does have an expansion at the top left, but we do have this +3 Marine there who's going to take on all the probes. And Bomber is going to go and help that Marine out with the rest of his army and basically go and clean this out. And once Mana loses that, his economy will be down. If you look at the main, it's mined out. On the natural, almost mined out as well. And it's not looking too good for Mana right now. Bomber at 192 supply versus 96.
And Bomber doing the smart thing. He is just going to slowly pick off expansions one at a time. No need to go overkill and go straight for the main. If he can just keep Mana down on bases, he will win. And there it is. Bomber takes down Mana 2-1. Really going to show why he is performing so incredibly well in Korea, but Mana with a very, very strong showing and a hell of an achievement taking that win on Terminus.
That was actually a great, and I want to go up to Mana later and shake his hand for that win on the second game.
Oh, absolutely.
Incredible play by Mana, but not being able to keep up the stamina in all 3 games, and goes 1-2. And Mana, so now he's beat Exlord 2-1, lost versus Bomber 1-2. I'm not too sure of his other games though at the moment. So
we'll have updates on the status of those players coming up. The next match is going to be White Ra versus Prady. White Raw, a huge crowd favorite. Likely going to be a little PVZ action. Oh no, Prady plays Terran.
Plays his Terran, yeah.
Oops. God, how embarrassing. Either way, just wanted to let all of you know that all of these matches are getting uploaded to www.day9.tv. It's a brand new website, Diapollo.
Congratulations on your new website, Day9.
Oh, it only took like 2 years. But it exists now. All the games are being uploaded. You can go direct to the archives, day9tv.blip.tv, to catch any of the action that you missed. Diapollo, where can people find you at?
Follow me on Twitter, guys, at dapollo1337. Also support my team, teamdignitas.net, and also my page on there is /Apollo at the end of www.teamdignitas.net.
And if you'd be so kind as to follow me on Twitter, I'm just a few people away from 50,000 followers. Oh, big numbers associated with it. But we will be taking a brief, short break. Ultra congratulations to Bomber for taking down 2 top Europeans, Happy and Mana. Do not go away. We have more action coming up. We will be seeing White Raw versus Prady right after this. I'm Day9.
And I'm Diapollo.
Don't go away.